welcome back to the Sussex Handmade Soap Company. I am Anne and my friend Wayne is hovering about in the background at the moment. Say hello, Wayne!
Hello!
Welcome to our channel, welcome to our soap making videos, welcome to our Friday video. Today it is number 2 in our April releases, and this soap is a green and white design. We started by going for a Tiger Swirl, but I talked too much on the video and because of that my batter thickened up, so it is a Tiger Swirl gone wrong, but it's still pretty. It is scented with grass stain fragrance oil, which, oh my goodness, smells amazing. And it is topped with chamomile flowers that were hand grown by moi. See, I don't just make soap, I grow pretty flowers too. Watch today's soap, enjoy it, here it is. So we begin today by pouring our cooled lye water into our melted oils. We're working at a temperature of around about 120 degrees Fahrenheit today. And we're just going to incorporate the cooled lye water, say, into the oils, and we're going to bring it to an emulsion. Then after we brought it to emulsion, we're going to split it down into 2 equal sized portions. And now to this first portion we want to add our colour, and today that is 1 gram of Indigo Dye and 1 gram of Annatto extract. We have mixed them together in this little pot and just hydrated them with some warm water just so that Indigo Dye dissolves nicely. Now we are just going to pour them into our batter. I'm going to incorporate them with the spatula, and then I'm going to bring the stick blender back in. And I'm going to use it to bring it to a medium, well, a light to medium trace, and hopefully it will turn a pretty green grass colour. And now we're going to add in our fragrance to this portion. Today we are using Grass Stain from Bramble Berry. We're using 40 grams in total, so 20 grams to go into this portion, and we've got another 20 to go into our other portion. And this fragrance is absolutely beautiful. It is really reminiscent. When I was growing up, Boots used to sell a body spray called cut grass or something like that, and that was all the rage at the school I was at. Everybody loved the cut grass body spray. It was the thing to have. We were simpler back then. We liked kind of, you know, simple things like cut grass, as opposed to the kids nowadays where it's all got to be like, you know, unicorn farts and monkey burps and things like that. We just liked the cut grass. That was our #1 scent, and this smells just like that Boots cut grass body spray did. So it brings back lots of memories, and it's still a really fresh, really lovely smell. Spring smell. I couldn't think of the season. I couldn't think of spring. I was like, it's not winter, it's not summer. I couldn't think of spring. No. It's a really nice spring smell. Right, now we're going to colour, now we're going to scent the uncoloured portion again with 20 grams of the Grass Stain fragrance oil, and we're just going to mix this in until it's nicely incorporated. And we might bring the stick blender in and just bring this portion to a slightly thicker trace. Doesn't need to be much thicker, just slightly. Now we've brought in the mould, and today we are going to try and do a tiger stripe. I say try and do because the batter is a little on the thick side, but we're just going to go down the centre. Then we're going to bring in our green and go over the top of our uncoloured portion. The green is much thicker than the white, and it is also thicker than I wanted it to be. I think I got carried away with talking and forgot that I was meant to be concentrating on what I'm doing. So we'll go over again with the white now. Back to the green, and we're just going to continue doing this all the way up the mould. And I can already tell you this isn't going to be a stereotypical tiger stripe design because my green is far too thick for that. But hopefully we'll end up with something that's still fairly pretty. So there we go, all the soap batter is in now and we're going to texture at the top. I say this is not going to come out as a perfect Tiger Swirl because I did get carried away and I brought the trace to much thicker than I actually should have done. I've already made this soap and it worked out perfectly when I wasn't filming it, which I will prove to you by showing you a bar later on. So we are going to texture the top. We're not expecting a perfect Tiger Swirl, but we're going to use a fork to texture our top. And all I'm going to do is just bring the fork in down at the side and just pull it along about, I don't know, 2/3, 3/4 of the way along. And just pushing it away from myself. Just making a really pretty kind of imprint in this soap. I like to think that this kind of reminds me of grass, kind of reminiscent of kind of blades of grass and things like that. That's why we're doing this design. And the smell coming off this is absolutely gorgeous. I say that fresh cut grass scent, it's so fresh, it's so beautiful. I absolutely love this smell and it really does take me back to being at school, 13 years old, and showing off my cut grass body spray. And to finish off today's soap, we are going to use these beautiful little chamomile flowers. We grew these ourselves. I grew them in my allotment and they have been dried, and we're now going to use them to sprinkle along the top of the soap. So just along the untextured side, I'm just going to slightly sprinkle a few of them. And I say it's just to tie in with the kind of springtime theme of this bar. You know, the grass, the daisies or the chamomile flowers, which do look like daisies to me, just to give us a real sort of springtime soap. I am a little disappointed that my chamomile flowers have got a brown tint to them. I'm sure there'll be some of you that will pick up on that. They're not as white as they were, but they have been fully dried. And I think they still kind of work in this soap. They still look pretty. Admittedly, yes, they'd look prettier if they were bright and white, but dried flowers like these don't often stay bright and white. So we're just going with them as they are. And I think because of the colour of the soap, it does work okay. I'm just going to press them down gently so that they stay in the soap and that they don't all fall off, which we obviously don't want because that would be a waste. And these will kind of just rinse off within the first 2 or 3 times that you've used the soap. And the nice thing is they don't run the whole way through the soap, so you're not going to be picking bits of flour out of your bath or your sink every single time you use the soap, because no one wants to be doing that. So here we go. We have got our grass stain scented soap with the already predicting failed Tiger Swirl in the middle, but we should end up hopefully with a pattern that still looks nice, and decorated with our homegrown chamomile flowers. Come back tomorrow and we shall chop it up and show you the inside. So 24 hours later and we are ready to cut. I've turned this bar onto its side for cutting because we don't want the chamomile flowers to drag through the soap, so we've got them at the bottom. And we are just going to pull the cutter down through the soap now. And let's pull out a bar and see how they look. So here is today's soap. And as I said, it's not by any means a perfect Tiger Swirl at all. I wouldn't even really call it a Tiger Swirl, purely because, like I say, that green just got too thick. I traced it too much. I still think we've got quite a pretty design though. And as promised earlier, let me show you one of these soaps from the batch we made previously that we didn't record, just to show you the difference. So here's one I made earlier. As you can see, this is a lot more kind of swirled and layered, very different to the one we created yesterday. I think they've both got their own appeal, and I think the trouble with yesterday's is I was just a little bit too involved in the talking and the filming, because that does sometimes slow things down, and I think it just slowed things down a little too much and allowed our batter to thicken. But I think they're still both quite pretty soaps, so if you were to order one of these ones, it would be random as to whether you received the one with the more swirls or the one with the less. I always like to say that if there are batches that have very obvious differences, just so that you guys can know what to expect a little. But yeah, these are our two sort of different designed grass stain soaps. So here we go, grass stain soap in two slightly different designs. The design I made where I was too busy talking to pay attention to what I was doing, and the design I made when I was not distracted and managed to actually do things how I was meant to do them. Both look pretty, both smell amazing. I know I keep going on about how good this fragrance smells, but it just really does. Perhaps that's just because it takes me back to being 13 years old again, when everything was that much simpler and all I had to worry about was what my mother was cooking for tea and if there was going to be any good telly on. Whereas now I have to worry about what Wayne's going to be cooking for tea and if there's going to be any good telly on.
Don't worry, it's excitement.
It's excitement. Anyway, that's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a subscribe. Hit that like button, and I'm getting my words muddled up. Leave us a comment and come and see us next week for our next soap making video. Oh, and check out our website too if you're interested in buying anything. We also have a discount code. That is all, my friends. Ta-ra for now.
You're having cornflakes.
Oh.